So today we're actually going to be breaking down our recent Google ad that we've been running for a couple of weeks now. And if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that we had a lot of issues with like our Google business profile specifically, which apparently thousands of you guys all over the world have had. And we actually spoke briefly just about on another follow-up video to that, why we have to use other sources other than just our Google business profile. I love the Google business profile. I've been preaching on that for service business owners, specifically in my industry, the pest control industry, for a while now. But, just we cannot rely solely on that. It reminds me back when Google Local Services first came out and I was relying solely on that. And then when my Google Local Services started drying up, which we're actually going to talk about briefly in today's video as well, we took another big hit there. A bunch of business dropped because we had too many eggs in one basket, and that basket being Google Local Services, of course. So what we're actually going to do here is I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I'm getting our Google Ads pulled up right now here. And let me take a look. Here we go. So what we're actually showing you right now is just a broader look, so to speak, from, as you can see, January, around the end of January, when our ad first kind of really started getting going, getting its feet under it, until now. So about 2 to 3 weeks worth of data all in all. We've actually, I haven't had a whole lot of activity, and I'll dive into why. I mean, of course, since we're in the pest control industry, weather plays a huge part in that. This is a general pest control ad specifically. So anytime, we're running an ad during winter specifically for bug related stuff, obviously, like it is all over the country, even here in Dallas, it's really cold. We're supposed to get into the teens tonight. So we haven't had too much activity on our Google ad, I would say, this week in general, to start the week at least. But as you can see, overall, we have got this kind of dialed in now, at least in terms of our cost per conversion. We're only paying right around $70, just under $70 per conversion. And our overall cost, not too high, really $277 across 4 leads total. We have this dialed in now, like I mentioned, to where we're actually not paying for like duplicate leads, if that makes sense. So this isn't counting the duplicate leads or anything like that. Overall, 691 impressions, 18 clicks, conversion rate over 20%. So again, when we're looking at all the most important metrics here, like this ad is definitely checking out. It's doing exactly what we needed to. If you get anything over 10%, really, you have a relatively good converting ad. The fact that this ad is running at 22 and a quarter is, pretty good. And I'm not going to make too many adjustments probably going forward. We have an A to B test running, which I'll kind of show you guys the back end of that a little bit here shortly. But though both of them are actually performing relatively well. So, with that, it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? If you're doing over 20% on your conversion rate, there's really not a whole heck of a lot to fix. And with that, I'll just kind of show you guys. We'll just dive right into our actual ads here. So we ran a couple of different tests. You can see we have 3 of them paused now, as a matter of fact. And the reason why we started running tests in the first place was we noticed right away, like, okay, this has gotten a few clicks, but it hasn't led to anything. Now, we did, in a way, kind of change it up early, because after 2 clicks and no, conversions, it wasn't just about the fact that there was 2 clicks and no conversions. Don't get me wrong, like, that's crazy. I think you're gonna have a 50% conversion rate or 100%. But what I noticed is we were around like 100 impressions already. So it had like a 2% click-through rate in the first place. And of course, neither of the clicks were converting. And I went ahead and made the original B test down here. And that actually started getting like 1 or 2 conversions relatively quickly. After something like 3 or 4 clicks, we got a conversion. Then we got another one after like 8 clicks or something like that. So every like 3, 4 clicks at the most, we were getting a conversion. This one has actually now gave us 3 conversions overall for an average cost per conversion of just under $60. And then from there, we started running some other tests too, because, you always want to try to improve your process at the end of the day, see if there's a way that you can just make an ad that much better. But as you can see with our C test, that one there, it got 79 impressions, not a single click or anything. So I was quick to pull the plug on that, because I was pulling impressions from our B test down here and wasn't doing anything ultimately. So I was really quick to pull the plug. probably a little too quick, to be honest. I usually like to get at least 100 or more impressions, get a couple of clicks, you know, just kind of see what happens, compare the overall cost per click and all of that stuff. And of course, you know, do we get any conversions out of the first few clicks or anything like that? Because we are not aiming for like just a 10% conversion rate. And to be clear, when we're talking about conversion rate, we're not talking about just, you know, like the actual sales, if that makes sense. That's the closing rate. When we're talking about conversion rate, we're saying specifically like, okay, if 10 people clicked on this ad, how many people out of those 10 submitted a form, gave us a call, you know, actually made contact with us for us to try to sell them on a service. So that's what we mean by conversion rate. So definitely know the difference between conversion rate versus closing rate. Because there's obviously a very big difference there. But with that being said, our goal for our conversion rate is not 10%, it's not 7%, it's not 12%. My goal for conversion rates is 20% or higher, simply because I know out of every 10 calls or leads, whatever you want to refer to them as, that we get, we're going to close about 4 or 5 of them. You know, in some cases 6, some cases 3, some cases 8, right? It all depends. You know, law of averages, though, leads us right back to somewhere around that 4 to 5 number on average. So with that being said, we know using that math that, okay, if we can get a 20% conversion rate, meaning 2 out of 10 clicks, give us a call, submit a form, whatever the case may be, there's a high probability we're going to close at least one of those. So what does that mean from there? What that means from there is we can start to calculate really quickly what's our cost per acquisition, how much are we willing to spend on clicks, how much are we willing to spend on the leads, etc., etc., which will lead us into another topic I'll dive into in a whole nother video for you guys about why we're kind of just doing away with Google local service ads altogether. It's gotten out of control. I'll hit on it briefly towards the end of this stream, but you know, with the results we're getting so far, only paying somewhere around 50 to 70 bucks per lead overall, we can't really complain. As you can see here, the 2 that we have running right now, the conversion rate is 27.25%, 25% for conversions between the 2. The average between the 2 is what, somewhere around $55 per conversion. So not too bad at all. And I want to say out of those, we have closed, I know we closed 1 for sure. 1 we're kind of like on the fence on whether they're actually going to sign up or not. I mean, I've like pulled all the tricks out of the bag on that one, and still haven't necessarily got her to say yes yet, but gonna keep following up with her and see what happens. But as of now, we've closed 1 out of 4 of those, and then like we said, assuming if we close that second one, we're right smack dab where we want to be, which is around that 40-50% closing rate. Back to the topic with like Google ads and everything, because like I said, you know, which I'm kind of glad that you brought that up, because it kind of goes into what I was referring to in one of our recent videos about why we can't rely just on, you know, Google ads, or not Google ads, Google local services, Google business profile, or even Google ads. You can't just rely on one source. And that's why I'm trying to slowly but surely kind of quote unquote master all of these platforms. That way, like I always say, you all can just use my channel as like a giant how to not waste a bunch of money, right? I've wasted tons of money on Google ads, Facebook ads, stuff like that. And now Google local service ads, as a matter of fact, too. But Google ads by far has been one of the best ones to me, just because it's, believe it or not, once you figure out the game of it, it's very, 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 very easy. It's very technical to get everything up and going, but it's very easy. Like, let me show you guys this ad that we're running right now that we're only paying about $13 per click for. You can see overall it's got about again, around a 25% conversion rate. Of course, it's early on because we just launched this one, I want to say about a week ago, roughly. But let's go ahead and just dive into this ad. Well, this is the landing page. I guess I could show you all this first and foremost. So we did tweak the landing page briefly. So what I did was, as you guys know, my wife actually just started her photography business to start 2025. I'm actually using her camera. Shout out to her for letting us have a little webcam and YouTube upgrade. Letting us use her camera for that. But what I actually had her do was take some just updated business pictures for me. She did, you know, probably a dozen different ones total. And we ended up going with this one here just because it just seems a little more personal. I don't smile a lot. I'm not a huge like smiler, but you know, got me smiling, cheesing, whatever the case may be. And then that was pretty much it in terms of what we overall updated on this. We did go ahead and push the contact form, the little mid-page form, up the list a little bit. It was below this, and then our call now was a little bit lower, but we pushed everything, again, our call to actions up. So we have a total of one, two, in terms of just call to actions. Now, actual actions they can take, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 calls to actions on this single landing page. You can see this landing page is short, right? Short, sweet, to the point. You know, if there's somebody that needs to know just everything about us, they can literally learn about me personally, you know, my decade plus of whatever, you know, experience, and you know, just how our pricing works, 100% satisfaction guarantee, all that stuff. Like I said, you know, more than enough information, but at the same time, people that want to make a decision quick, this is what they call the hero section right here. So whenever you first load up the page, what you see on your screen without scrolling, that's what they call the hero section. And you want to squeeze as much good information, picture, call to actions. You want everything right there, specifically your call to action that you want them to act on the most. So say we were targeting, you know, we want to get a bunch of forms, which I prefer calls over forms personally. I'll do another video on that at a different time. But like for us, we want them to call. Like they can submit a form if they want. We don't hide it or anything, but we would prefer them to call. Hence why we have a phone number up here and a phone number up here right after our call to action. So you want to squeeze as much of that into there. And then, of course, a little bit of personalization with the photo, you know, whatever the case may be as well. But again, you can see overall, it's pretty straightforward, right? Like it's not like a web page, so to speak. It's just straightforward. This is what we're offering. This is why we're the best. You know, go ahead and give us a call, right? So if we go back into our Google ad now, what you'll actually see is, let me go into the one that's like quote unquote performing a little bit better. Let's see, view asset details, or no, not view asset details. I wanted to go into the actual campaign. No, not that. Come on. Here we go. So when we actually dive in, and if you guys have any questions as we go along too, you know, about like setting up your Google ad, or, you know, doing the A to B, C, D, element OP test, all that type of stuff, just let me know. But what do you all see here? They kind of gave it away. One thing that I have really found lately is get creative with your ad copy, specifically the headline. Because of course, what's the first thing they see? Those big blue letters. So whenever you search up, for example, let's go over here into Google real quick. Let's just type in, you know, pest control. It may not even show me any ads because at this point, I'm probably blocked by a lot of competitors in terms of like blocking my IP address. But let's see if we can see any. Okay, so here we go. Do have a couple ads. So look, professional pest control pros, get $50 off your first service. $59 pest control special. You know, what's my point here? It looks like the rest of the search, right? Plano Pest Control, certified Plano. Like you compare this to the ads up here, they look the same, right? Like there's no uniqueness to them. They're not eye-catching. You want your ad to stick out for any reason at all. Obviously, you know, the better the reason, the better the chance of them actually converting. So what did we do? We'll scroll down here to some of our headlines. We got creative with some of our headlines. So what we did is, of course, we have our location dynamic insertion, which means, which you've probably seen over here, as a matter of fact. Like what it's saying is it will take where that person is from. Say they're from Plano, Texas. It will tell them at the very beginning, you know, Plano, Texas, #1 pest hitman, right? Like saying, oh, you know, we're the hitman for bugs, right? Again, just cheeky stuff more than anything. Then, of course, you know, we have your basic, like, let's defend your home from pests. And another thing that we did was we're utilizing these #1, #2, and #3 spots for the headlines. Here we go. This is what I was talking about right here. See where it says Richardson Local Pest Control? That's the dynamic location insertion right there. Same thing here. I said pest control, and then at the beginning, location. Let's see if we can find that actually. Yeah, right here. Location, pest control. That's what that one was. Same thing there with the local. But anyways, hopefully you guys understand that already. But like I said, we're getting creative with this. You know, bugs and in-laws, we handle one. You know, just kind of like, oh, haha, they're able to get rid of bugs, but not the in-laws, right? Just again, just kind of like funny, cheeky. Here's another one, actually, as a matter of fact. Can tell what kind of mood I was in that day. But we wish in-laws left this fast, right? Like, again, just like what I found is using like humor or a pain point, just something unique that your and I probably shouldn't even, I mean, most people in our industry and the big companies won't see my content anyways, I'm sure, but part of me almost feels like I shouldn't even be telling you guys or anybody this, because I know some of even my own competitors watch my channel, as a matter of fact. Like, it's just, it's such an untapped area of advertising, specifically amongst, I don't know if it's just the pest control industry, I'm sure it's not. But I was just literally, you guys know I've been reading a ton of books lately. Right now I'm actually reading, was it the $100 million, I'm finishing up $100 million leads. I finished $100 million offers recently, but I was just, you know, in this marketing mindset just from all these books I've been reading lately. And I started just scrolling through ads. Like, I strongly suggest you guys pay attention to ads. Like, don't skip ads, don't, you know, mute ads, don't just scroll right by them when you're on the internet, on Google. Like, pay attention to every ad you come in contact with, and specifically, what was your initial reaction? Was your initial reaction that you didn't care and that you kept swiping? Not necessarily because of just muscle memory, you know that the ads are at the top, but did it catch your attention at all? Like, did you go, huh, and like, you know, it at least grabbed your attention? Or was it just like, oh, that's just another one, and you kept going? That's what I'm referring to whenever we're looking at, going back over here, just some of these generic, super generic, you know, ads. And will these convert? Yes, they will convert, but they're going to convert at like half the rate that an ad that can grab people's attention. Because if you can't grab people's attention, you've already lost them. They're just going to keep, because most people, when they hop on here, they see the stuff at the top and they scroll right down to, oh, okay, now we have the local map pack. Let me find a local company. Hence why we also say focus on your Google business profile, which you see us right here, of course. But I can't stress it enough. I cannot stress enough that whenever you're creating your Google ad copy, like, get creative, because you want to separate yourself from, where did they go? Here we go. You want to separate, and I'm not like putting these ones on blast or anything. These are just the first ones that popped up. I don't want to show you guys like 20 or 30 different ones, but you know, again, professional pest control pros get $50 off your first service. Okay, at least they have the offer in there. Like we said, these will convert because they have the offer in there. If the offer is strong enough, you at least get some people's attention. You'll convert 10, you know, 8 to 12% roughly. But again, the proof is in the pudding. Like, let's go back to just our overview here. What was our conversion rate? 22.22. So just over 22% switching to this method of advertising in terms of creating our ad copy in a more creative way, if that makes sense. Like, that's the main thing that I want you guys to take away. Now, there is a lot more in here as well, of course, like making sure that we have our keywords dialed in. We have thousands of negative keywords in place. Matter of fact, if we actually go in to our just like audiences and search keywords, you'll see here, by the way, do not pay attention to this at all. I cannot stress this enough. This will have you thinking that like you need to raise your bid like crazy. Look at all of ours. Do you see how ours are at like these weird numbers? And oh shoot, I don't even have a I just realized we weren't showing the screen. Okay, let's go back here. So like I said, 22% plus conversion rate. Going in here to the keyword section, when you see this, do not worry about it at all. I cannot stress that enough. Do not worry about this at all. You can probably see here, it's saying, oh man, we're bidding like $8 less than we should be. Well, if that's the case, how do we still have over 200 impressions, 5 clicks? Now, to be fair, that's a very low click-through rate. But looky there, we're showing up at the top of the very, top of the impressions, meaning we're top of the page, right? First 2 listings there. 48.11% of the time. That means almost pretty much 1 out of 2 times that people are searching for a keyword that has pest control in it. 1 out of 2 times we are showing up at the top of the search. Which again, that goes back to my theory on our impressions being low is not because of what we're bidding for our keywords. And I'll show you guys how we're automating our bidding strategy here in a second as well. I kind of hit on it in a previous live stream, but that was a really long, in-depth one. So I just want to briefly hit on it today for you guys. But like I said, my theory on the slightly low impressions is because of just the season we are in pest control, which is probably also why the cost per click is a lot lower right now as well. Probably just not as many advertisers advertising right now. So where was I with that? So yeah, like I said, even though we are supposedly bidding like $8 or $9 lower than what it's saying we need to be at the top of the page, or even it's just saying first page and not even top of the page. Clearly that is BS, because 1 out of 2 times we are popping up at the top, not just page 1, at the top 2 search results. And that's for like all the search terms you can see here. 48%, 45%, 43, 42, 34, not great. That one probably needs to be raised a little bit. But again, it is automated, so I'm going to leave it alone. 33, 75. What else we got? 15. Like we got a bunch of keywords down here ultimately. And some of them I might actually go in there and tweak. I don't like that is set at $44. So even though that's automated, we're going to change that because I do not want that to be at $44. Let's see. But yeah, so going back to what I was talking about though too, about automating your keywords. Again, I know I'm hitting you guys with a lot, but like I said, this is how to win with Google Ads for your service business in 2025. Like I said, number 1, get super creative with your ad copy. Make your landing page unique, but straight to the point as well, with lots of call to actions and action buttons that work. And then from there, within our keywords, we actually have what are called scripts. I needed a drink really bad. So yeah, like I said, that was actually a perfect transition too, because like we said, we talked about real quick, just to recap, why the ad copy is so important to get creative with. You can use whatever you need to, use Gemini, use ChatGPT, whatever the case may be. Just come up with some creative headlines. And this is for, in my opinion, every industry. It's not just pest control. It's not pool. It's not just, plumbing, anything. Just get creative. And it doesn't even have to be funny. I just like humor personally. Some people say I got dark humor a little bit, but I feel like humor just brings a lot of people together, gets people's attention. So I started with using humor first and foremost, but there's a bunch of ways you can go about doing this depending on your industry. But I know most of you guys here are in the pest control industry specifically. So with that, like we said, the ad copy, specifically your headlines, get creative with that. And then second off, obviously make your landing page unique, but straight to the point with lots and lots of just call to action. Now, don't just make it nothing but call to action, obviously, but, make it obvious, like, hey, if you want this, do this right now. And maybe even put a little sense of urgency in there. That's probably going to be my next test that we do at some point in the next month, is make a landing page with a little bit of sense of urgency with like a countdown clock or something like that. So, like I said, I'll keep you guys updated on that. But now we're transitioning more into strategy in terms of bidding for the keywords, because you guys are probably, like I said, seeing this and going like, how are you getting impressions and clicks and everything else? Well, because we have this automated. So if we go over here into tools and we go down into bulk actions, and then we go into scripts. And again, like I said, we did a more in-depth live stream just about this in general recently, so I'm not going to break down how you do the code and all that stuff. If you want to see that, again, it was a recent live stream about, I think I called it like how to win with Google Ads in 2025, something similar to this, but not the same. It was like a week or two ago, something like that. But what we do is we actually have this set up here. Let me see. So we go into here, and like this says right here, so position bid adjustment with time constraints. So what it's saying is between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. U.S. Central Time, what we want to do is increase the desired position of these keywords to, you know, essentially position 1. Like we're bidding for top of the page, position 1, position 2. And what it's saying is you can increase my bids by up to 25%. You can decrease them by as much as 20% as well. So what it's saying is constantly between 7 to 3, constantly be checking to see on the back end for us. Again, it's automated. Constantly be checking between 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. when our ad is running, to see, you know, what do we need to be bidding to be at the top of the page, and adjust our bids based on that level. Like if our competitors raise their bid, go ahead and raise our bid to match it. Now, again, it won't go up more than 25%. You can increase this to whatever you want. You can say 50%, 10%, whatever the case may be. Another good buffer to have in here is the minimum and maximum, which again, in that other stream, I went deep into detail about how you do this code with ChatGPT. I did not write pretty much 99% of this. I told ChatGPT what I needed for Google Ads, and it gave me this code. Had to configure it just a little bit, but again, even use ChatGPT for the configuration as well. But like we said, we went into a lot of detail on that in the previous stream from like I said, about a couple weeks ago. But whole point being, another buffer you have in here is saying we don't want our bid to go under $10, which is why I'm kind of interested that one did go under 9, or it was like 9.19, something like that. But then again, we haven't had, and then that one, it went over to like $44 or something like that, which is why I adjusted it, because it's not technically supposed to go over $25. So that's something I am going to at least keep a little bit of an eye on. And then, like we said, it shouldn't go up by any more than 25 to, you know, right around 25% based on this parameter that we have set up here. And let me see if I remember right. No, that's on the other one. So yeah, that is the main one, I should say, in terms of the main automation configuration, whatever you refer to it as, that we have set up in Google Ads. That way we're not constantly having to be checking Google Ads, checking the keywords. As we just seen, they clearly lie about what you need to bid to get to the top of the page, which is ridiculous in my opinion. But you know, like we saw, it said that I should have my bid set at $22, $23 when my automation has it set at $13, $14 right now. And that's getting us impressions and clicks. Now, sure, if I wanted to test, like, hey, what if we increase this a little bit manually? You know, would we get more leads or something like that? Sure, I could definitely test that. But like I said, I'm going to actually wait until our busy season gets in full force here the next couple weeks. And if for some reason I'm still not satisfied with our impressions, then I'll go ahead and reconfigure the automation a little bit. That way we'll start bidding a little bit more for those keywords, if that makes sense. And like I said, of course, like everything, I'll keep you guys updated. The other one I really like here, especially for busy season, is we have a configuration set up that after 15 clicks on a keyword, if we don't get a single conversion from that 15 clicks, go ahead and just pause the keyword. Like if we haven't noticed it and haven't paused it ourselves already, just go ahead and pause it for us. It'll even send us an email letting us know, hey, this keyword, let's just say pest control service, for example. It got 15 clicks, no conversions. We paused it for you. It'll send an email notification for that too. Another one that we have here, so we can run our campaign all night long, and not just that, but get very, 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 very cheap leads, is decrease our bids by 50% overnight. So look at what we have written up here in the description. So it's saying This script automatically decreases the CPC bids of all enabled keywords by 50% at 6 p.m. US Central Time. It stores the original bids in a Google Sheet for restoration the following day. Additionally, for keywords labeled 1.5 or position 1.5, it ensures the new bid does not fall below the estimated bid needed to achieve first or second position. So how do we know that this has actually worked? Well, I'm glad you asked. If we actually go back in here, we can actually go down here and we can do, what is our average cost per click? Oh, that's for ages. We want to see the times of the day. Let me see. Here we go. Let's see. Average cost per click. So if we go into average cost per click, you can actually see. So let's see. We have like nighttime. So looky here. Saturday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. We paid almost $19 per click around that time. Where if you think about it, in theory, most of our cost per clicks are set around $10 to $20, right? So if our automation knows, hey, cut that by 50%, that means our cost per click is at $5 to like $10 roughly, maybe 15 for a couple of them at the most. But the fact that this is at almost $19 shows you that, hey, it was willing to do what it needed to do to get us to that number 1, number 2 spot overnight on a Saturday night. Same thing here, Monday night, 10 to 11 p.m., almost $18, $11, $9, $15.60, 16 from 12 to 1 a.m. And do you guys see here, by the way? I hope you guys do. Yeah. Hopefully you guys see too that, matter of fact, let me even adjust this visual we got going on just to try to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Hopefully that made us a little bit bigger for you so you can see a little bit better. Do you see why we want to bid overnight? $4.85 for clicks, $9 for clicks, $8. And by the way, these are for high intent keywords. These aren't for like, how to do pest control yourself. Like this isn't like BS phrase match, broad match keywords. These are high intent pest control Plano, Texas, pest control near me, same day pest control, whatever the case may be. Like, again, see, we had one here 3 to 4 a.m. for $21 though. So that's our automation working perfectly. It's cutting our bids where we're able to by 50+%, but when needed, it will raise the price that we're willing to pay to compete still with that number 1 to number 2 spot. Hopefully that makes sense. If you guys need any, like clarification on that, just let me know. But like I said, we did this intentionally. I first did it as a test. The test was, hey, if we run these overnight and we have at first the automation was literally, let's just decrease bids by 50% across the board. That was all that we were doing. And we got like 2 conversions like the first weekend we did that, because these are running 24/7 now, unless if I pause them for like a holiday or if I'm sick because I had a kidney stone this last week. Whatever the case may be at the end of the day. But I just had a gut feeling, and so far that's been right, that if we can run these campaigns 24/7 by cutting our bid, but still have the automation set up to cut our bids, that way we're not having to go in every night and be like, oh man, I want to adjust my bid. Oh man, I want to adjust my bid. Like, this makes it where it's literally on autopilot now. All I have to do is just kind of dissect this once or twice a week, see if, like you guys saw, for some reason, the damn automation raised one of our price per clicks to like $44, which thankfully it's not a very sought after like keyword. It's not searched for a lot. So I had to go in there and adjust it manually. But ultimately, we've been able to get some conversions for really, really, really cheap that we would not have otherwise been able to get if, 1, we just weren't running our campaigns overnight at all, 24/7. 2, even if we did, we'd be paying so much more, because usually our cost per clicks, like we said, are between $10 to $20, even $25. So say we didn't have that automation in place on the Google ad, we would have paid a lot more, which when we scroll back up here, and we look at our cost per, apparently we just had somebody click on an ad or something because our cost per conversion just went up a little bit. Because this was at like $69 or something like that. Let me see. See if we had somebody click on the ad today. No, we did not yet. I don't know how our cost per conversion went up then. Let me see. Either way, like we said, it's somewhere around that like $70 mark in terms of cost per conversion, which again, do not confuse conversions with sales. I can't stress that enough. We're converting, meaning for every 10 people that click on our ad, 2 to 3 of them are calling us or submitting a form, which is very, very good. From there, it's your job as the salesman to close the lead, to qualify the lead. And if the leads aren't qualified, that's where you start diving in more to your audiences section and figuring out, okay, where the hell did that lead come from? First and foremost, that's where having your CallRail in place is first, and the very first thing you should do before you even run any campaign, have your tracking in place. 2, once you find out it is your Google ad that they came from, figure out, okay, what age roughly were they? Because Google has all this stuff in here, guys. Like, I can't stress this enough. Like, let's go in here. So see how it says audiences? See how we don't have any for 18 to 24, anything really for the most part over 54, 65. Now, we do have unknown. And this is kind of interesting because our unknown, we have a ton of impressions, but no conversions. So that's something I'm going to actually keep an eye on. I always suggest, and I've always heard in the marketing industry in general, you want to keep unknown active because there's so many people have all this like VPNs, this and that, where you just don't know like really much of anything about them. So if you block that off, you're going to obviously lose a ton of impressions and in theory, a ton of conversions. But so far, 373 impressions, 0 conversions. So that is interesting to see. I'm probably going to filter that based on clicks here in a minute. But look how we have it set up here. And this is just age, by the way. This isn't gender. This isn't household income. This isn't parental status. This is just the age. So far for age, we have it filtered where we're mostly bidding on people between 25 to 55 because we know for the most part that is our target audience. Gender, we haven't really messed with gender much at all. And as you can see, with reason, now again, the unknown, that's crazy that there's just no conversions. Household income, I used to mess with this quite a bit, but I found that, believe it or not, the household income is usually kind of the least of your issue. Like either, for the most part, kind of this graph is spot on. Either you tend to deal with like the richest of the richest, or you deal with kind of the quote unquote poor, so to speak. Parental status, no data, which I'm not surprised. I don't ever really see anything here. But again, you can go in and just start to filter this and do tests with it. If you think, oh man, I really only want to target rich people for whatever reason, like more power to you. Or, oh, my business, it's more for like helping the poor, whatever the case may be. Like, okay, you can do that then. Like, you can do any type of targeting you want. So when you start seeing a common trend that like, man, this zip code, because you can do that with locations too. I was just hitting on the audience and say you notice with certain locations now, oh man, this zip code here, which I haven't even looked at this in a while, so this is actually good to look at. Let's say this zip code here in Plano is getting a bunch of impressions but no clicks. Maybe I want to go ahead and either A, do a bid adjustment, or B, just pause the location altogether. Why would I want to keep sending impressions to an area that we're not getting any clicks on, right? Or let me see. Let's see if we have one with like a bunch of clicks but no conversions. So let's see that one. We do have a conversion. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So this is a custom radius, and I hate doing custom radius for this reason. I like breaking things down into zip codes, but I was just in a rush and I did it one day. But let's just say hypothetically this little 5-mile radius right here, it's giving us 53 impressions, 4 clicks, 0 conversions. So, now to be fair, we're only paying $7 a click. So it's like, I haven't done nothing with it yet because I'm like, dude, the cost has been so low. If nothing else, I'll pay that just to have these eyeballs on my company at the end of the day. But again, That's what I love about Google Ads so much versus like every other platform is there's so much data that you can break down. And once you get your campaign, get your ad group, get your A to B copies made up that are, going back to our, let's see, GPC ad group, go into the ads again. Once you have, like I said, it's gonna take tests. This one here failed. This one here, we just paused it because call extensions don't even really run anymore. But this one here failed. These two here, they're doing okay. Like this one, so-so. I mean, the conversion rate is good, almost 30%, but the click-through rate is pretty bad. We're paying almost $3 per click higher. So, I'm going to keep this running still just because it hasn't even hit 500 impressions yet. We'll see what happens. And this is not even at 100 yet. So, still very early on in this D test here. But, the whole point is like you're going to have to constantly like make a little tweak, fire. Make a little tweak, fire. Make a little tweak, fire. Like just over and over and over again until you find one or two that are really working. Like these ones here, I wouldn't even say like they're just straight up hard-hitting workers, but they're working enough to where I'm like, okay, let's get some more data. Like they are working a little bit. We don't need to just pull the rug out from under it real quick and move on. Let's let them get their feet under themselves and let them work a little bit because the conversion rates are amazing, 25, 27%. Cost per click's very low for my area, and compared to, which I brought this up at the beginning of the stream, compared to Google Local Services, which has bumped their damn head, charging $100 per lead now, most of which, by the way, completely BS leads, scams. Like I had a message lead earlier saying they wanted pest control, mosquito, inspections, bed bug treatment, like every service we have to offer. And, if we're not able to do that, do we have somebody we could refer them to? And again, it was a message lead that didn't even leave a phone number or anything. Like this platform, I loved it when it first came out. I loved it in 2020, even half of 2021. It's gone to shit. Just call it what it is. It is, I would say, as bad as Yelp at this point. Like it is not good at all. I tried to give it an honest chance. I was like, let's get 5 to 10 leads, see what happens. Now, to be fair, I did close one, but I mean, the one was like a $179 initial, $95 follow-up. It's a woman selling a home, and there were like rodent droppings in her attic. She just wants to do like the bare minimum to, get the house sold essentially. So, I mean, this is not working at all. And we're probably just not doing it anymore. And we're just going to double down on what is working with Google Ads ultimately. So let me see really quick if we have any other questions or anything. Shout some of y'all out that are in the chat here. What's up, Freddie? Freddie said, what's up? Yeah, hopefully you're doing well, my friend. Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Get me pulled up here. Boop. Yeah, hopefully you're doing well, Freddie. Hopefully all of y'all are doing great to start the week. Like I said, I just wanted to hop live today. I know it had been a while since we've done a live stream. I want to say at least a week or two, I think, actually, since we did that last Google ad, where we did the in-depth tutorial about setting up the scripts and everything. Like I said, this was more so designed as just kind of like an overall update, just things that you guys need to know about really getting Google Ads dialed in the right way, because if you don't dial your Google ad in, it'll be just like every other advertising platform. You're just going to waste money, and you're going to be sitting there just like banging your head against the wall wondering like, man, why do I suck? I mean, like I said, I've wasted hundreds, if not probably even thousands of dollars on Google ads, on Facebook ads, on all these different ones. I haven't figured out Facebook entirely yet. We're getting there on that. But finally with Google ads, we're getting it dialed in now. We've learned a lot over the last few years to where now, like I just showed you guys, we're paying $30 less per lead than what we would be paying with Google local service ads. And actually, I'll be honest with you guys, it's like $60 less, because for phone call leads, which is all we really want from Google local service ads, we're paying $140 a lead. For the message leads, we're only paying like $50 to $80, which is still just crazy for that poor quality of a lead. So again, don't rely, like I mentioned in a previous video after the whole Google business profile nonsense happened, do not rely on just one platform to get your leads from. Dive in now. Don't try to go all in on everything at once. Like, don't try to dabble in Facebook, dabble in Google, dabble in Yelp. Like, whatever you're trying to learn, like, get tunnel vision and go all in, focusing on what works with that platform. Once you get a machine that's working with that platform and it's printing money for you, then go ahead and shift over to another avenue like a Facebook, a TikTok, Instagram, whatever the case may be, networking groups, whatever, right? But my whole point is, and I'll continue to beat on this drum because, like I said, I fell victim to this starting my business as well. Google local service ads was going crazy for us, getting us at one point 60 plus leads a month. And then all of a sudden, whole algorithm with Google local service ads changed, and we went from getting that many leads to like 5, like overnight in a month. And that's when we started pivoting to the Google business profile, because I was like, holy shit, this is like free. All I have to do is just put a little sweat equity into it. Now we're to the point where the last 3 or 4 years, we've been getting anywhere between 20 to 100 in some cases leads per month for quote unquote free. Again, you have to get reviews and do all this local SEO, but it's just sweat equity. Now we got our website SEO going with digital overlords. We've been paying them now for like 4 or 5 months. That's starting to slowly but surely, work. And of course, like we said, now the Google ads as well. That is kind of starting to fall, everything fall into place on that as well. So let me see here. Who is this? Mitchell Jerome said, can I ask a question? Yeah, no, sure, you can ask a question. Yeah, I'm actually getting ready to wrap up, so you came in at a perfect time. Yeah, feel free. Like I always say too, the live streams, while we do tend to have topics, they are Q&A based as well. So I mean, if you all ever have questions while we're doing live streams, don't hesitate to shout them out in the chat or anything like that. I can tell that my camera's getting ready to die here any second, so we will be wrapping up. Like I said, if y'all have any last second questions, feel free to shout them out. Otherwise, like I said, cannot stress it enough to you guys, don't dabble whenever you're learning, whatever platform you're learning. I'm not like affiliated with Google or anything, so I mean, matter of fact, I can't stand them, to be honest. But at the end of the day, for us home service business owners, where do people go to look for a plumber, for a pest control business, for a plumber, or I think I already said plumber, electrician? They go to Google, right? Occasionally they'll go to Facebook, and that's where Facebook groups can be, again, more free publicity. But they go to Google. Let's just be real. So you got to master the SEO, local SEO, SEM, search engine, and Google ads. You got to. Can't stress it enough. Let's see. Mitchell said, when I run Google ads, I want to put my ad in the map pack. I have 3 Google accounts, or 3 Google accounts. Will that affect it? So anymore, from what I understand, Google local service ads are now what is being showed in the Google map pack, which is what I was referring to earlier. Let's see. Want to make sure the ad is in the map pack. Yeah. So it used to be you could set up what they called like a location, what they call it, like location, like storefront or target ad, something of that nature. Because I know exactly what you're talking about. We ran one like 2 or 3 years ago, and that used to be awesome. But what I have noticed lately over the last like 6 months, roughly, maybe even less, is they are now doing it where it's the local, Google local services specifically. Now, I don't know if that applies to, say, like, because they're not local services, I don't think that applies, of course, to, like, say, restaurants or hotels, stuff like that. So that would be interesting to see. Location asset, yeah, exactly. So that'd be interesting just to see overall. But I know in terms of services, I know, like, even for me, that hasn't even been an option anymore. Like, I haven't even been able to, I mean, you can still have it. I guess I should rephrase that a little bit. You can use, if you have, say, a Google business profile, right, for your service business. I guess this is probably how it works across the board now. You can use the Google business profile, like you mentioned, as like a location asset, and it will, show that. Matter of fact, let me see if I can actually pull this up just really quickly for you guys. Let's see. We'll pull this up over here. Boom. Let's see. So we'll go into, where's our assets? There we go. Assets. Let's see. Yeah, I don't even think ours is actually showing right now. Let me see. Oh yeah, it is. No, that's business name. Let me see. Location. Okay, there we go. Yeah, business profile. So yeah, the business profile, yeah, actually, it's actually got a considerable amount of clicks even too. Pretty low cost per click, but pretty low CTR too. So yeah, no, that is definitely still in there. It's just they've definitely overhauled it a lot since I did it like 2 or 3 years ago. I totally forgot about that until you mentioned the location asset. So yeah, you connect the Google Business Profile to the Google ad, or like to the Google ad account, I should say, if that makes sense. Hope I'm not losing you. And then from there, you can just like add that as a asset, right? Let me see if you have any other questions. That's what I want to do. Okay, yeah. Have it pop up first. So the easiest way, let's pop this guy back up here. Boop, boop, boop. The easiest way to do that would be there's a way you can like increase, actually I don't remember if you can increase the bid on a specific asset. Let me see. I thought there was a way you could actually increase the bid of the asset. Maybe not. Let me see. But if I have 3 Google My Business to connect to that email, how do I make sure the right profile is used? The easiest way to do that, because I have 2 business profiles on here, for example, both are actually with different profiles. Where are we at? Location. So say for some reason, the one that actually no, so the easiest way to do this is you go in here, so you can see here that it shows 2 locations will be synced from this, and then from here you can label them, and then from there you can select we only want the location to show like with this label. See how you can label them? So you just utilize the label, and then say they have like a slightly different name like ours do here. I could say specifically, this name, right? That's the easiest way to do it. The other way is you can give them labels, and then you can say, narrow it down with this label, if that makes sense. There should be a way too that you can actually like pause each individual asset, but I'm not seeing that for some reason. Just like with keywords and stuff, you can usually, or even just any other asset, you have this option to, pause, but I'm not seeing that with that, which is weird. I get it. Cool. Cool. I get it. Yeah. No, awesome. Yeah, glad that could help. And let me see. You mean so I pop up just bid on each keyword. But you can bid the highest, or I'm guessing you probably just popped in here a few minutes ago when you asked about if you could ask a question. If you rewind back just a little bit in this live stream, I actually go over what we do to just kind of automate our keywords in terms of, let me see, let's go into search keywords. So what we do is we actually label our keywords 1.5, the ones that we like care about the most, that is. And from there, we actually have scripts in place. If we go down here into scripts, we have scripts in place where it will actually give us bid adjustments to compete with the top 2 positions, which the way to track that is working correctly. And again, I'm giving you like a short answer on that, just because, like I said, we went into pretty detail on that a little bit back in the stream. And I'm trying to give you a quick answer before my camera dies. Where am I at? If we go back into keywords, how we can tell this is working is, one, because I do not make my keyword bids in like pennies like that. But two, all you'd have to do is look at what is your, not just impression share, but where is our top of bid or top of page? Where are we at? Search impression. I don't know why it's not showing our top of bid, top of page rate. It was showing us that earlier. Let me see. Custom. No. Should be a way to see impression top and the absolute top. All right. There we go. So you can see your absolute top percentage, and then of course, you know, that top, what, 2 to 3 as well. So that's another way you can kind of keep an eye on it, is to see like, okay, how often are we, you know, obviously you're never going to be just 100%, but that would obviously be not just for your business asset either, though. So have to kind of take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. So let's see. Is there a way to get keyword search volume extracts? Let's see. Is there a way to get keyword search volume? Extract search. Oh, the exact. I don't believe so. I know with like the Google Keyword Planner tool, it tends to be the closest that you can get in terms of that. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean too, because like there's a lot of them that'll have like such a wide range, and you're like, dude, like what am I supposed to do with this, right? Yeah, there you go. Like you said, like when it says search 10 to 1,000, exactly. Like it makes it where you're just kind of like, okay, like is it 100? Is it, you know, 200? Like, is it, can you give me at least some kind of narrow range, right? The easiest way that I have found to do this is because usually most of those keyword tools like Google Keyword Planner, SEMrush, stuff like that, a lot of times they'll show you like a full year's worth, which for the longer, the more data, the wider the range, right? If you hyper tighten those results to say like the last month, last 90 days, something like that, you'll usually get like a lot closer. But even then, sometimes those broader keywords, like for us in the pest control industry, if we just say pest control, that thing will say like 100 to 10K. And it's like, oh God, like what am I supposed to do with that, right? Yeah, there you go. Like you said right there, 100 to 10K, exactly. You know any good keyword tools? So I like using Google Keyword Planner just because it's free and it's right there built into Google Ads, and how you can like hyper local it based on zip codes, towns, all that. Like it'll show you that based on what specific area you're wanting to target. I really like that feature. But another one is SEMrush. You can usually, SEMrush has a free version. It's just kind of limited. You only get like a certain amount that it'll allow you. But, you know, if you want to look at it and try it out, they actually hooked you guys up with an affiliate discount as well. There should be a link, I believe, in the description box down below if you want to just try it out. Like I said, I mean, they have a free version anyway. So if you're not already on SEMrush, you can check that out. But yeah, those are kind of the main two that I use. And even with SEMrush, for the most part, I use the free version with that as well. But I have had the paid version. But that's my little secret with SEMrush, is when like I have a lot of time to really dive in on like competitor research, keyword research, I'll pay for like 1 or 2 months of SEMrush and then I go ahead and cancel it because it is kind of expensive. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, I want to say $90 for like kind of the standard version that I use. And then they have some that are like 300 or more. So, yeah, just kind of play around with it. Like I said, there's a link in the description they hooked you all up with if you guys decide you want to try it. And yeah, any link. I try to hook you all up with as many affiliate links as I can just to get you all the best deals and stuff. Of course, my channel is relatively small. I don't have like 10,000, 100,000, whatever the case may be, subscribers. So I don't get too many, you know, affiliate codes or anything like that for you guys yet. But I guess if you guys want more of those, go ahead and subscribe, all that good stuff. Keep watching all the content. More than anything, just trying to help you guys out in any way that I can. Just like I said, because I know this journey for me, it's already been half a decade. And there's a reason I'm not even 30 yet, and I got a bunch of gray up in this beard and everything else. It's a stressful journey, but it's worth it at the end of the day. So, yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap up. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the stream. If you did, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. We've been live for over an hour already. And if you're new to me and just wondering, like, who the heck is this guy? Why should I even listen to him? Like I said, my name is Griffin, and I own a pest control business in the Dallas, Texas area, Preferred Pest Management. We've been in business now for about 5 years. I've been in my industry overall like 10 already. And on my channel overall, I just document my overall like business journey, entrepreneurial journey, whatever you want to refer to it as, and just things that work for me, things that don't work for me, and hopefully just speed up the curve for you guys in terms of just that learning curve to just, win at the end of the day. I say every year when I hit my 1 year, my next year mark of being in business, October, November of every year, I look back and just go like, man, if I learned everything I learned this last year, day one, my God, we'd be like $100 million already. But yeah. So if any of that interests you, I don't talk just about like pest control either. Obviously, we talk about Google Ads, any way to just get leads and customers for our business. We generate about 100 leads a month on average for our business across all of our platforms like Google Business Profile, our Google search with our website, blogs, and all that. Facebook. I don't know if I said Google Ads, but Google Ads. Just across everything, we generate about, on a low month, 50 leads, good month, 150 leads a month. So if you think any of that could benefit you, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and if you're watching this after it goes from a live to a video, I'll try to put a playlist either somewhere over here for you guys with over 100 videos that should hopefully help you start and grow your business this year. But until next time, guys, have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.